What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Lone Wolv Podcast. I'm your host, Wolfson, and today's episode, we got a special guest in the building. This person has been a long-time fan of the show. That's right, we have a fan, but he's not just any other fan. I've known this person for quite some time here in South Florida, especially in the EDM scene. And we had a great conversation today. So please say hello to South Florida's up-and-coming house DJ, Mikey Barreneche. That's right. We basically started talking about a whole bunch of stuff, you know, when it comes for him and what got to him as a DJ and as a producer. It's actually a very interesting story because most of the time, people actually get into in the music scene because they were musicians. They got inspired by music and they play certain notes. But in his case, he's different actually because it was kind of the similar story as mine. He actually became a DJ first and then became a producer. Something that he and I share was the fact that, you know, something that was told to us is like, hey, for you to play on these certain shows or these certain festivals, you need to learn how to make music. And he did exactly what he did. The only difference is that in his story, he actually learned from music a certain way. And I learned it from mentorship, from school and whatnot. But he actually learned it way different and the most common way to learn music, which is pretty wild because this guy learned it from YouTube. That's right, guys, YouTube. And he learned everything that YouTube, yet he's getting played in shows. And he's also getting played by certain artists like 4B and such. And that's actually pretty interesting. I was like, wow, I didn't know about that type of stuff. I honestly did not know that he learned music that way. And it's actually very interesting because we are living in an age in which we can learn everything in the internet. Like anything that's in the internet, we can basically learn it. So we don't really need to go to schools or go to certain people, you know? But we actually did talk about all the stuff. And we also talk about how the music scene is, how the Miami scene is right now with all the pandemic that's happening, you know? And we also got down to some of the stuff like what got him to be a DJ or a music producer, what inclined to him to be a house DJ, you know? And then we got to some serious stuff and like, do you think these certain people should be called artists? Wink, wink. And as well as some of the stuff of how he actually makes his music and how can he escape from writer's block. That's right. Everybody has writer's block. We just don't know it, but we do. And it was just an interesting conversation overall. And I really enjoyed it. So be sure to like and subscribe for your weekly episodes at the Lone Wolv Podcast for SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and of course the YouTube channel at lonewolfpod.com. That's lonewolfpod.com, where you can check all my latest episodes. You can also follow me at any of my social medias at Wolfson Music, as well as the Twitch channel at Wolfson Music and SoundCloud as well. Even Spotify as well. You can find me at Wolfson Music. Honestly, I got a lot of social media. That's pretty cool, you know? Well, coming soon. If we can get YouTube to have 100 followers, all our social medias will be changed to the Lone Wolv Pod. Straight up. But I need your help, guys. I need you guys to share this episode all around and let the people know, you know, because it's the only way for me to get to 100 subscribers. Once we hit that, man, we're going to have our own name and we can do so much more stuff, you know? I mean, we could talk about a lot of other stuff, but, you know, well, I got years ahead of planning of topics to talk about and a couple of guests that I'm planning to get, you know? So, well, without further ado, let's get started. This is the Lone Wolv Podcast. Boom. On my channels, I was like, damn, why is it so loud? And I see it was still yellow. I was like, why is it? It's loud, but it's yellow. It's not even clipping at all. So it's like, oh, yeah, it's my headphones. I had to tune it down. These, I gotta tell you, these are not headphones made for studio or any of that, man. These are just basically headphones made for just to listen. That's it.
For talking, for real?
Yeah, I mean, they're gaming headphones, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a good headphones for me to use for whatever, to listen, gaming, whatnot, you know. I wouldn't recommend this for music production, but if I've seen people using worse headphones than these for music production.
Yeah.
I'm still shocked how they can manage to have those mixes so tight and clean. So
I think they just gotta guess, and then when they go in the car, they listen to
yeah, man. I that the card is the ultimate test for whenever you know whether your mix is good or shit.
it. Right. 100%. It's so disappointing sometimes.
I sometimes have to fake myself in my car because if I don't feel my bass in my car, that means like shit, my bass is low. It's not there.
Facts.
So bad, man. But how are you, man? Welcome to the show.
I'm good, bro. How about you?
I'm super good, man. Just trying to, living day by day with the podcast and the pandemic, try to do my best.
I'm the biggest fan of the show.
Yes, you are, man. Yes, you are. And I do want to appreciate the fact that you've been, following me and commenting on all my episodes, man. I appreciate that very much. That's why it was like, man, I need to get this guy, and not as a fan, but, as another person that I have to interview in the list of guests that I want in my show. So obviously, thank you for coming in, man.
No problem, bro.
Yeah.
I'm hyped.
That's good, man. That's good. So, man, there's like lots to talk about, man, especially with you, man, because lately I've been seeing a lot of moves.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of moves from you, man. So I'm loving it, man. Whatever it is that you're doing, keep doing it. So tell me what's the first thing I saw that was like, oh shit, this guy's making moves.
From this week?
Yeah.
Probably 4B bringing me up.
That's tight.
I was during this whole quarantine, he had been playing one of my tracks in like all his live stream sets. So like that's how you know when they really love it. Like they're not playing it just once, like they're playing it in every set. Like early on in the set, I saw that he was coming to Fort Lauderdale. I'm like, bro, I gotta go. Like I have to go. I've never seen somebody like play my track like that. I said hi to him when I got there, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm dropping it early in the set. And he goes on the mic. And he's like, oh, yeah, this is Mikey Barreneche's song. And then he's like, yo, security, let that guy through. Like, I wasn't expecting that. And I just ran in the back and went crazy.
Oh, shoot. So you're getting the VIP treatment all around.
Right. I wasn't expecting any of that at all. I was just going to be in the crowd and see it happen.
Oh, that's what's up. And 4B was in Fort Lauderdale this weekend then?
That was last weekend. And this weekend, he was in Wynwood.
Okay, got you. So what kind of song was it? Like, was it a typical house song, or was it something that 4B and all these people from Matt Decent play around, like that Carnival, Jungle Terror stuff?
No, it was house. But
okay,
he's been playing house now, like in his sets.
Oh, really?
Like, I don't want to call it tech house, but it's very much like tech house, but it's like a lot more hype. Like it has like a very hype vocal on it. So it's like kind of like a house track that you'd play like on a big stage kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's like I don't know, man. You don't expect for these kind of things to happen. Like I thought it was cool, but I didn't know like this many people would think it's cool.
That's dope, man. And how did he get his hands on that song? Did you send it over to him?
Oh yeah. I've been sending him music probably for like 3 years, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's like one of the best at like listening. Like I always see that he listens to it. I see him in the plays. He's downloaded a couple of my tracks before this, but it's never been like he's never loved one like this much.
Really?
Yeah.
So is this track? Is there gonna be any future release on somewhere or somehow?
It's coming out. I don't know if you know who Matroda is.
I'm sorry, I don't.
He's a artist. Like from Chami's label. He has his own label now called Terminal Underground.
Oh.
That is like one of my favorite house labels, and it got signed to there. And I made another one that's like really similar to it that I showed 4B, and he's like, nah, bro, this one's gotta come on my label.
That's what's up, man. Great news. Just right off the bat in the episode, man. Great news. Congratulations, man. Two releases. Two distinctive labels from 100%. One from 4B. So that's got to be big, man.
Yeah, bro. It's been a good week.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. So how did all this started? So let's go back again to when did Mikey Barreneche started as into music?
I would say like the beginning when I was in college playing college ball and just being in the apartment in the Midwest during the winter, like I started listening to music way more, started getting to Avicii,
Mm.
A lot of trap music was like my favorite because I was a hip hop head always. So then like the trap remixes were like it was like wow, like this is even better. um, and then like Life in Color, bro, you probably were there. You might have even played it.
I
uh,
mean, I was in Life in Color in 2016, 2017.
oh, so I think it was a little later. I was at the one that I went to the one that was the first one at Sun Life Stadium, and
Mm.
then the second one that was 2 days. So the 2 day one, I'm there. I'm watching Headhunters. Like first time I've seen a hardstyle artist before, and like seeing like his passion, like how happy he was up there. I was like, wow, like all right, this is what I want to do. Went back home for college. Went back to college and bought a DJ controller. Started learning how to DJ because like that's what I love more than anything, like a lot more than making music.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for about 2 years before I started making music. So once I finished, like I came back home from college, that's when I started producing. Like I had a lot more time. I didn't have that much time in college because I was playing baseball, working, and school.
Where did you go to college?
My first 2 years, I went to a junior college in Minnesota, and then the last 2 years, I went to a school called Northern State in South Dakota.
And do you still go there, or you already graduated, or you're finished, or you're not even?
Nah, I didn't. I just played my 4 years of baseball, and once that was done, like I knew I wanted to do music, so I'm like, and I was just going for business management,
Mm.
and basically, like as a business major, a lot of like projects, like everybody's assignments are not the same because everybody is gonna go enter a different business. So my projects would be about the music business,
Oh wow.
and I do presentations in school, like this is my marketing plan. No, this is like my business plan. This is my competition. These are my goals. This is what I have to do to get to them. And everybody in the class is just like, what? My teacher loved it though. He's like, you know, like everything about this. I remember like showing them pictures of Ultra on the PowerPoint.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, bro. They never seen anything like that, bro.
Oh, what? Oh, I bet. I mean, what do you do over there in Minnesota and Dakota? What's
Bro,
like amazing to go there? You know?
nothing. Mount Rushmore, but I never went. But basically, you just, bro, my life there was going to school, playing baseball, and every weekend just getting drunk at the bar, the same
course.
bar, every single weekend, the same bar, seeing the same people. And they even had like a club open up for a little bit there, and I was DJing there every weekend.
Oh,
Like that's when
wow.
that's the first time I ever DJ'd, and it was like the first day of the club open. Like I went over there and I'm like, bro, I will play for free every weekend. And they're like, no, you're gonna get paid. They pay me like $40 every night, bro. And I was like basically DJing for minimum wage, but I didn't care. I wanted to do it so bad.
Right.
So like I lied to them. I told them I was like been DJing since I was a kid in Miami,
Oh, good
which was
Lord.
like a huge lie. The first night that it opened, it was packed. Well, like it was a small club, so it only fit like 200 people, but I've never DJed in front of anybody before that. And it went well. And the next night, even more people came and it was like over capacity and it was going good for a while.
So you just started DJing just recently, like right off the head, like a few years ago.
I started learning in 2015, the beginning of 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And then I DJ'd like a real gig, like in those clubs in South Dakota in 2016 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I DJ'd in Miami like for the first time in 2017.
So you've been DJing for 5 years at least, at best.
Yeah, like DJing is definitely like my comfort zone, like a lot more than producing.
I can relate to that, man. I've been doing this for. I started DJing I'm 31, by the way.
I thought you were younger. That's good. You look young.
Thank you. I dressed the part to look like a young guy, but nah, I'm old. I'm older than you think, man. I started DJing like literally at 2005, 2006, around there. I started having my first little CD setup of DJing, man.
That's hard. I don't know how you could do that, bro.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. Back then, you didn't have any sync buttons, so
Yeah,
it was all by ears.
How did like transitions get judged different back then? Because bro, that's hard DJing with CDs. So was it a little like messier, not as perfect as it is now?
Right now is yeah. I can say that back then it was definitely much more messier, but you somehow hide it, so you don't really
Hmm.
notice it. Even as a fan or as an outsider that doesn't know anything about DJing, you don't really notice it. And because I wasn't being paid too much attention about BPMs at by that time, I was so good on mixing. This song goes well with this song, and
Right.
this song goes well with this song, and then becomes a ladder. I didn't care what was the BPM of one or the other. I just know that if I put this on and this on afterwards, it's gonna go bonkers,
Yeah.
and that's how I started DJing. And it wasn't until when I hit the club scene in 2010 in Puerto Rico, still in Puerto Rico, and this time that's when I got myself. I purchased Tractor,
Yeah.
and
Like the
then I
turntables or a controller.
the interface, the Tractor interface that allows me to play in the turntables. Kind of like
Oh, okay.
before I got into Serato, I was into Tractor.
Yeah.
And then that's where I learned a whole lot more about BPN and beat matching. And then that opened a can of worms for me in my life and my DJ skills. That to this day, you can give me any program or any CDJ or any turntables, and I'll
Yeah.
still mix the fuck out of it, bro.
Yeah.
It's
I-
just it's practicing, man. It all boils down to practicing and knowing what you're crafting. And I don't know anything about music theory at that time.
Yeah.
I just knew by ear that this song goes well with this.
It's weird. It's weird. Like that's when I started DJing. All I knew was BPMs. I was like, all right, we got to match the BPMs, and if you don't, you got to transition like at a break where it's like
Yeah.
I would notice when I was playing in that club in college that some songs went so good after each other. Like I would always like, so like when I matched the BPMs, some songs went so good together more than others. And I didn't know that it was because of the key of the songs.
Right.
I didn't know anything about the keys. I didn't pay attention to that at all.
Right.
But once my boy, like around 2017, he was like, oh, you should like try to like match the keys too, play with the keys. And I'm like, once he told me that, it's like a different level. It sounds like they're just supposed to go together.
Right. That's exactly how it went down when I moved here in Florida. That, now that I was starting to making music, I
Yeah.
need to know what key am I in my song and which key does this song mix with what other songs. And I got heavily involved in that part. And then, yeah, once you know about the keys of each song and when you're mixing it, you're like, oh my God,
Right.
this is
It's when I'm making music, sometimes it's hard for me to, it's like, so if I'm drawing in like my own notes, it's easy because I know the key, like, and I know which notes I can use. But let's say if I want to use a vocal sample or something,
yeah.
Sometimes I'll be like off by like a semitone, and I won't notice.
Yeah. I mean,
But I'll send it to my boys, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, just go down one or up one."
yeah, that's pretty much the same thing as I feel every time I got a vocal and I'm like, I need to make sure this is the right key. That's why I actually
Yeah.
got Melodyne, because Melodyne actually helps you a lot. And when you know that your song is at a certain key and you know the keys to that scale, then when you hit Melodyne, it's just
You just throw it in there, and
You
it
just-
shows you the notes.
yeah, you just throw it in there. You can actually see the waveform of the vocals, and you can tell and you can see that at which note that or pitch that vocal is at. And then what you can do is you just basically drag those vocals into the right notes so it could be at scale. So let's say
Yeah.
like that this certain vocal is at E minor and you want it at F minor.
Yeah.
When you slap it on Melodyne, you can see all the notes that are according to the E minor. All you gotta do is just move this to be at that scale, at that note, and that's pretty much it. Melodyne
Yeah.
is a lifesaver. The other one
That's
is
a-
Mixed in Keys by Capital Plugins.
And they're both plugins that you can get for any DAW.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
damn, I gotta look into it. I've seen one called I think it's just literally called Autotune that I've seen a hip hop producer use, and it's like you throw it in and it kind of like does it for you. You put the scale and it like adjusts it.
I have mixed feelings with Autotune, to be honest, and it's because yes, that you can slap it and you can actually do it for you, but it gives you that T-Pain sound.
Yeah, I don't like that sound.
Yeah.
So it doesn't happen when you use Melodyne.
It does not. It's just you just basically hear the notes tune in a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
It's much more effective because again, you're doing something manually versus something automatically. The auto tune
Yeah.
does the job for you automatically, but it's because of those little voices, the T-Pain voice I call it. You know, that sometimes it feels like, damn, bro, like you can tell that this
It's
vocals,
robotic.
yeah, like you don't want that. That's what you try to avoid too. That's where you get stuff like Melodyne, which is perfect for vocals or any other wave format. To be honest, you can even slap a bass that's on a different key, even though you can do it on a DAW. But even so, you can slap the bass and you can tune it to the key that you want, and boom.
Yeah.
And Capital plugins, mixed in key, yeah, they're very good. It's like a mixture of both, like automatic and manually. So it's a give and take. I haven't purchased it yet. It's $58. It's not that bad.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, it's not that bad. And I know for a fact that in that plugin itself, if you don't know the key of that song, that plugin will tell you right away.
Of like any song that's like out.
Yeah, like any song or anything in particular that you don't know what's the key of it. You just basically slap the song to it, and then mid key will basically automatic tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Another way to do it, but this is more of my audio engineer side. So another way to detect scales is using the EQ graphics.
Like, and seeing where it's like the strongest point, right?
Yeah.
I use Span sometimes. It's like a visual. It's like I just look to see where it's like the highest point, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another way to detect which scale is the song by using the EQ graphics. Like I have Ableton, so I use the EQ8, and it tells me right away like 77 hertz is this root key, you know, or Fat Filter. Fat Filter also is good at it, and it's much more expanded, so you know you can how far you're going into. But that's more on the mixing technical side, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go whatever is easier for you, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I want the easiest. I just want it fast. Like if I could just DJ, bro, I would. But it doesn't work like that. You gotta produce. You gotta make good music.
Yeah, man. That's something that I learned when I wanted to play in EDC Puerto Rico. That's one of the things that they were telling me. Like, if you want to play in the whatever stage I want to play, I have to learn how to produce music. And I was just a DJ by heart, DJ by first. Like, I know nothing about production. It was until I moved in to go to school, the same school that me and Chavalo went to. That's where I learned how to make music. I mean, same school as Chavalo and Nitty Gritty all together. We were all in same class.
I thought you were more of a producer.
I'm an audio engineer first before. I'm first of a DJ, then I'm an audio engineer, then a producer. That's how I am, because as a producer, I'll tell you what, bro, like I'm not the best producer out there. And I'm being very open about it. Like I know what level my songs are. Like, I'm proud of the one hit songs that I did. I'm very proud about
you know
it.
your stuff though, because when I met you at your apartment, that was like a year into me producing, and I remember showing you a track, and you're like, this drop is lower than this one, and I'm like, oh, it is. So then I had to fix it. But like everything you're telling me, I'm like, damn, I don't know anything about this.
Thank you. I mean, it's years and years of practice and years of you practicing the same thing. You know, I didn't get to be a producer as I am right now if it wasn't for the school and if it wasn't for my other mentors like Mode Step, Adair, and Crimson Child. Some of the best.
He's from LA, right?
Which one?
Crimson Child.
He's Canadian.
Isn't he like been? Didn't he like just release an album?
Yeah, the 11th hour. Yeah, the 11th hour. Shout out to Jashar, man. He's one of my mentors. So and it's funny because like you could tell, it's like, how is he mentoring you? So like you're a dubstep guy. Jashar is something else. It's like he likes rhythm. He
I
told
don't
me
even know what that is. I've never heard music like that before. When I heard his album.
I mean, it's something typical that you will listen to an artist, when you're trying to experiment something brand new, Like I don't even know how to categorize him. I just say that
Yeah.
he's in the bass. He's into bass.
Yeah.
That's pretty much like whatever songs that he produced in that album, dope as fuck, fire as fuck. I don't know if I will play them. I don't know if there's a song that I'll be play them. It's not my cup of tea, but I still appreciate his techniques out of it, man. And some of the stuff that I listen is like, man, I bet he did this the way he showed me how to do this,
I bet that he didn't make that for somebody else to play it. That's
no,
just his.
that's just is. He's your Canadian version of Porter Robinson.
Bro, I was gonna say that. You know how many times I'm in the studio and I'm like, today, do I want to be the guy that everybody plays their song, or do I want to make something that like Porter Robinson, like you go to hear his songs, like nobody else really plays it ever.
No, even sometimes the remixes, it's I don't know, like you can't play a Porter Robinson on any festival. I mean, you can sneak it in and you'll be like, holy shit, he snuck in a Porter Robinson song. But it's hard.
You could play the old ones, but the new ones, there's no like format.
No.
It's like Dead Mouse.
Yeah.
Like Dead Mouse has a lot of songs like that. It's like you don't know when the drop is coming. You can't predict it. Like the intro is like 2 minutes long.
See, that's why it's dope about Crimson Child with Josh Hart, because he's the exact model as a artist needs to follow and evolve to.
Yeah.
Because as time goes by, you can either, like you said, you can either play music that everybody can play or play music that only you can play. And see, it boils down that exclusivity, like only you can play it. So that means since only you can play, people will want to hear that song from you, and they will go to your shows no matter what, because they know they cannot get that vibe from someone else. They know they can only get it by him. So even though it's a dope thing to do, I will say that's not something that an up and comer should be thinking about now. Yeah. Like I get the whole concept of, stay in your lane and build something that's from you and, something that's dope, create something that's unique from you, but it only applies once you already have a following, a build, once you already establish yourself. That's where you can go take that route a lot more often. Because if we'll use again the Porter Robinson example, before Porter Robinson wrote that album of Worlds, which is like today still people like go nuts about it. Yeah. If we use Porter Robinson as an example, what music was he playing before that?
Like progressive house, electro, right?
He was actually playing more bass music.
Yeah. Like the ones that I know the most are like Language, Easy. And those are songs that any other person could play on the main stage.
I mean, I'll tell you what, those are the songs that are playing from Worlds. But before he got to Worlds, he was with Skrillex. He was with Deadmau5.
He was so different.
Yeah.
He was like a different person.
He was actually jumping in that dubstep wagon when dubstep started to be more mainstream.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at that time, mid-tempo was on the rise because Skrillex was playing mid-tempo as well. Knife Party was playing mid-tempo as well. So everybody was jumping in. Porter Robinson did a couple remixes and did it very mid-tempo, but it was more cyberpunk Skrillex vibe, So he was more into that bass scene. And then little by little, he transitioned himself into the Worlds album. And then after the Worlds album, he's like, whatever the fuck you want to put him into in the whatever category it is, that where he is right now. But you see the transition that he's where he started into where he is right now. Like he couldn't, I tell you what, you could not get away with a world's album if he hadn't done some of the
No
stuff
chance.
earlier. Yeah.
No chance. He's like a band now. That's how I look at it. He's not just like a EDM DJ. That he's his own band. Like
Yeah.
you don't want to, when you go see him, you want to see him play a whole set of just his music,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not gonna find that in anybody else's sets. But that's why it's like so hard for me to choose a both, because like I love DJing so much, and that's different from DJing. That's like kind of like a performance, and DJing, like you mix in songs that are hot with yours. It's fun back and forth.
It's a fun way to do it. But I will say, as for my personal experience, as for what I've seen so far, it's not something that you should be focusing more, because what you want is get the people to listen to you, get to know you, see who you are, have people play for you. I mean, 4B is already playing your songs. That's you're already ahead of the curve. You already got artists playing for you. 4B's playing it, so now. What was the guy's name? That fucks with Tuchami. You were saying
Machoda.
All right, he's already playing. Eventually, Tuchami is gonna listen to it. And he's gonna fuck with your music. It's gonna go all around. It's gonna spread around, and before you know it, you got people playing your music. And it's only then when you have people start playing your music, and a label tells you like, "Hey, you'll be dope if you can make an EP."
That's what I'm waiting for,
That's exactly when you start pulling the Porter Robinson move. That's when you go like, yeah, I can make a banger, but I can also do this. And this is, and it will define you.
Yeah, exactly. I made an EP. I was like, let me just make a 4-song EP and send it out to all these labels that I know and see if something catches, bro. Not one wanted to release it. So after that, I was like, all right, I'm just going to wait until one of them asks me to do it. Because it was a lot of work picking which songs I wanted and like the vibe that I wanted for each one.
I ask you, like, how did you send the emails to these artists or these labels?
So the process is I make the song. Once it's finished, I send it to, let's say this is day one. I haven't sent an email yet. I finish the song. I send it on Mondays, Tuesdays or Wednesdays, because that's when the artists and labels check their emails the most. And I send them like around 1:00. So if they're just like getting on their laptop, it's fresh. It's going to be on the top. So I send it to artists first. I wait a week. If anybody plays it, I'll be like, hey, this is supported by GTA, 4B. And I mention that in the emails to the labels. And then I send it to the labels. And then I wait for their response. And I just do that over and over again. But like, since you already know this, we make more than one song a week. So I have like emails scheduled to like April, May already, like every single week to artists and labels. It's like it's very like methodical, but it's like over and over again. You'll get told no, or you get ignored, but sometimes things catch.
I will say that don't try not to like abuse it.
Exactly. That's why, I mean, bro, I could be sending it more than once a week, but I don't, because I feel like it's overkill already.
Yeah. I mean, if the way I look at it is that if this label didn't say anything after a month, then I'm not going to send them anything afterwards. I'm just going to go.
Again?
Nah. And,
no.
And you know, you'll be thinking, it's like, man, no, don't do that. What if you actually do have the banger and they all of a sudden they send it over and bang, like they listen, like they had their chance. Oh, that's all I can say, because I had the same problem when I was sending music to I can't say fuck these guys, because these guys actually released my music. Artist intelligence agencies, shout out to them. People who own EDN.com and and dubstep.net, which is now called Parfion for some reason. I don't know. I've always sent them music to that. And usually when they feel that the song is not good, they'll respond to me over a week. It's like decline. It's like, all right, cool. They don't like it.
Yeah, I get a lot of those too.
When I send them a song and I hear that the first week, second week, they haven't responded, Usually that means like, oh, this is a good sign. That means that they actually wanted this, because that's what happened with my song with Future Fiend when it got released. It took them like a month or so for them to respond to say, hey, we love this song. We want to release it. It's like, all right, dope. But then I sent them some other songs. One that was supposed to be a collaboration with Nitty Gritty, motherfucker, and takes forever for him to finish songs because he has like 20 other songs to work on.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't blame him. So I was like, all right, I'll finish it up for him. I sent it over. I sent it over to Snails, to Dr. Ozzy, to Odd Prophet, a bunch of other people. And, they all fuck with it. They all love it. And then I was like, all right, so I got my validation. Let me send it over to this. It took them a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months until they decided to finally respond to tell me, no, it's not in it for us. Like, are you fucking kidding me? 4 months to tell me that you want this song or not, even though after I tell you that these certain dustbit producers don't want it? You know
I just
what?
have like really low expectations when I do it. That's why I don't care. I'll send it to them.
No,
Bro,
my
I'll
expectations just broke after that. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to send it to everybody at the same time. Who gives a shit?
That's what I do, bro. I send it to all the labels at the same time and all the artists at the same time. I don't care. Like, if they feel butthurt, like sometimes I've had to tell a label, hey, I'm not going to release it with you guys anymore. I'm going to go with this other label. And if they don't understand, like, it's like you said, it's their loss.
No, it's their loss.
Like, but I go in with low expectations. I don't expect anybody to reply to me. I like enjoy it actually more when a label is like, hey, we'd love to sign this one. And I'm like, finally. And I go back and see how many songs have I sent them before. And it's like 20. And on the 20th, I finally got it.
Yeah.
You know Starks, right?
Yeah, of course. Shout out to him, man.
I was always been a big fan of Harsh Records. And bro, I sent music to them for 2 years. Like nothing, not even a listen. And after the first day I met him, sent him like he started listening to my music and got something signed to the label. And if I would have just like stopped and be like, oh, these guys don't pay attention to me, that would have never happened for me.
Sometimes it's just I
just don't care. I just don't care. I'm just like, you could ignore me, fine.
I kind of had that pressure back then that like I really cared. I really care because my mentality is always running very fast. So it's like, I'm always like, come on, take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Stop wasting my fucking time. Come on, take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
That's how my mind was going into it. And I was putting so much pressure because sometimes there were some labels that I really, 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 really wanted to release on that label. But, I'll tell you what, bro. There was some labels that they do responded to me and they told me honestly, hey man, this song is dope, but it is not for us. Please keep sending us more.
I always get that too.
Hey, I appreciate those. I appreciate those, and I'll keep sending them more, and I'll give them first dips on those.
It makes me want to like make a better song for them because I know that they're listening and they're actually replying to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just look at it as like, hey, I know I'm gonna make a better song tomorrow than I did today, every time, over and over and over and over.
Yep.
And sometimes they've been like, no, and then you got like big artists start playing it, and it's like, bro, who knows who these A&Rs that are listening to these songs?
See, that's another factor because again, who the fuck are these A&Rs? Are they really actually doing the fucking job? Because again, I tell you, I thought the songs that I was sending was good.
Always, yeah.
Always. And when I get these rejections from these people, like I get these, man, is it really bad? Is that really bad? Music, and yeah. And then when I see some of these fucking artists playing my song,
exactly,
that's where I go like, yeah, fuck these guys.
This guy's playing my song.
I'll release it on my own. Thank you.
Yeah, and this big artist will release it. I literally have a song that GTA 4B and somebody else has been playing it, and when I sent that song to labels, no one replied. So it's like, who are these A&Rs?
Who are they? And you know what? I'll tell you this. This is another secret. Secret, guys. I'm exposing some truth for the labels. Oh my God.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. That's the Lone Wolv podcast for you, man. That's why I'm the Lone Wolv. If you send a certain song from SoundCloud, it has to be from SoundCloud. to a certain label, you can tell whether they listen to your song or not, because obviously in your stats, it's going to appear.
Yeah.
It's going to appear like either the label, the icon of the label says that they listen to it, or
their personal account.
Or their personal account. Exactly. That's how you can tell. And if they don't respond to you after they listen to it, that's already a tell saying like, all right, so they're not in it for us. Yeah. So I'm gonna go on to the next one. Another thing, if I don't know if you noticed, shit, I know it was last year that I did an episode about labels and their demo submissions and the demo emails.
And what did you say about it? I don't remember. I probably watched it.
Most of the time, they're dummy accounts.
Yeah. It'll be like no profile picture, no followers.
Yeah, like it's basically what I describe it, because this is something, you know what? I can't even say who told me this. I can't even say that. I will be exposing some truth, but I can't say who told me. But they say that sometimes these labels, they do have a certain demo submission email, because they get so much requests from other people's in their general inquiry that they build a demo submission email in which they'll have everybody send all their demos in that submission. That email never gets opened.
Believe that 100%.
Like, you've been sending your music for quite some time, no response, and you're wondering, damn, why? It's because it's a dummy account. Like, they actually have a separate email from the ARRs where you can actually send your music to them personally, and they'll respond to you whether they fuck with it or not. That's why when I see these demo submissions from many of these labels, I can tell you, Spinning Records, Never Say Die, or Disciple, Monster Cat, like all these guys, like they have a link in which you send in your shit, and they're not gonna listen to it, bro, because
you gotta find the A&R's emails.
That's one of the things. I don't know if I remember if I did mention that, but yeah, that's one of the things you have to do to make sure that your song is being listened and heard. You have to go find the A&Rs of these people, and the way you do it most of the time is by Googling it.
Bro, you have to know everything. Like, who is the label's A&R?
Yeah.
What's their email, bro? Ask them for their email if you can't find it, and if they don't reply, whatever. You definitely like get way more of a response when you send it directly to the A&R, because I have demos emails for like Spinning or like other labels like Ausla or something. Like, it gets to a point where like they've never replied or listened, so I'm just gonna stop sending it to that email because I don't think they check it.
Yeah, and it's probably because your word dump in the spam folder. Hey, you're not the only one. I'm a victim of it. I was a victim of it, so
this is a game of favor.
It's a game of favors. That's why another thing that I learned how to get to other labels is that if you know somebody that's in from the label,
Okay, so like you're saying, like, since you know them, yeah, like,
so since I know them, I may actually hit them up and say, hey guys, like, exactly. Can you listen to my songs? Do you think it's worthy to send it? And they can hook you up or help you out. Say, yeah, let me send it to you to this label or to this our A&R or to the label manager. And Dr. Ozzy, if you know Dr. Ozzy, then Never Say Die, Black Label, Odd Profits, the same, Never Say Die. If you know Borgor, his own label, Bygor Records, like if you know these certain artists, like they can help you. Again, like you can't go ahead and say, I know this certain person and let me ask them to help me up with that. No, like, bro.
Yeah, they want to help you because like everything's relationships.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is a relationship.
Let's say I had a label and I got 100 demos and you sent me one. Like, those other 99 are people that I don't know. And like, if I like it, whatever. But yours, I already want to like it. Because I want to work with people that I know.
Exactly.
The other people I could care less. So,
exactly.
Like, there's more of a chance.
Exactly.
We already know each other.
Exactly. And most of the time, how it works, you obviously you build a relationship with these certain artists, beyond saying like, like, yo, let's do a collab or whatnot and shit, bro. Like no, it doesn't come to that. Never do that. That's a.
I did it a couple times and I'm like, I felt like an idiot. I just stopped because they didn't reply. And like, we already followed each other and I asked, and I'm just like, damn, they didn't reply. I'm never doing this again.
Nah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but you know what?
That's like what you said about the labels. That I take it way too personal with the collab thing, so I just stopped doing it.
Yeah, bro. Because I'm telling you, I've seen it beforehand. I've never done that. I will tell you this: I've never asked somebody to do a collab unless they ask me, "Hey, let's do a collab."
Me too.
Yeah, like
not even my friends. I don't even ask them anymore.
Nah, bro.
And I like making music by myself too.
Yeah, I like making music as well, and I will be dope. It will be dope if I make a collab with some of these artists, but sometimes they got like other shit to do, and I'm
You'd have to ask me.
Yeah, and I'm in that mentality that like, let's go. What's the hold up? But
yeah, I have friends that I want to make music with, but I like when I'm making music, I like to make every decision myself, nobody else changing it.
Right.
But at the same time, I like their music and their style. So I just say, if they ask me and they send me something and we do it, or if we're in the same room and we do it together. But I don't ask.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way to go, guys. Like, that's the way it goes. You can't just go ahead and meet somebody and, down for a collab. Like, no,
they're gonna
bro.
say no. I mean, it happens to me. People ask me all the time. And
I
tell them straight up, I'm like, send me some ideas. I'm always down to work with anybody. If you send me a good idea, I don't care who you are. I tell them, you send me the ideas, I'm going to tell you straight up, no or yes. And like, you can't feel any way about it.
Nah, I'm too mean.
I'm going to reply. I'm going to respond.
No, wait a minute. No, I always do respond. I always too mean and straightforward. Like, I'm very brutal, honest. I just tell them, no, I'm not in it for collabs right now. And no, one of the things when you're in this business is you don't go ahead and straight up ask somebody to do a collab when you barely know somebody. No, you had to build a relationship with that someone before you do the collab.
They'll learn that though. Like, I had a kid that was following me and he asked me to collab, and like, I didn't know anything about him, never heard his music before.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at his profile and doesn't have a big following or anything. And I asked him, and I told him, hey, you can send me some ideas, but
can't promise you anything.
Most likely, I'm not gonna. I probably won't.
Yeah.
And I told him, and I wanted to help him. I sent him a long message. I'm like, what you got to think about this. What do you bring to the table that would make me make a song with you instead of me just doing it all by myself? Because I can make music, and I could make any of the music. Like, what are you doing different that I can't? Or what following do you have that I can't get?
Exactly.
He unfollowed me after I sent him to him.
That's why they will never reach far, man.
In 3 years, he might look back. He should look back, and he's going to be like, then he's right.
No, it is. Like, come on. I get that some of these kids or these people have never done this before, so they don't know how to work with this, how to approach somebody about, let me ask somebody an email. Let me ask somebody how to do a collaboration. Let me ask this, and that. Like, I get it, because I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for my school and all my mentors, I'll probably not be the person that I am right now in order for me to talk to people or negotiate with people, or establish relationship with people, because if I could be that same guy that you told to fuck off. Like, I could be the guy that, yo, let's do a collab, even though like I got 1,000 followers and nothing else to bring in the table for you that has like 20 million followers,
Yeah. I could have told that kid, I could have not even responded to him. But another thing with collabs, like, just like you don't like to wait. Like, I hate waiting. Like, when you make a collab, it's going to take a bit, because we have different lives. It's going to take longer than if you just did it by yourself.
I agree, bro.
And I hate waiting, because I don't like working on 2 projects at the same time. I just like going one at a time, and I don't start a new one until I finish. So it's like, I know I get tired of the one that I was making if I start a new one, and I don't want to go back to it. Oops.
That's kind of interesting, because I'm kind of the opposite of that. I'm kind of like, all right, if I already did this project, I'm too tired to work on it. There's some things I want to work on. Let me jump into another project, and then I work on that project. It's like, oh, I'm too tired about this one. Let me jump back again, and then I go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until boom, I got 2 songs ready to go.
Yeah, I can't do that, bro.
It's a skill. It's definitely a skill.
I feel like that I would slip into having a lot of songs that are not done. So that's why I focus on finishing it. Even if I'm tired of it already, I gotta finish it at least. And then I start something else.
Right. I mean, I just I don't like the waiting, waiting for you to do your part so we can move this forward. Like I get it's great. It. Like, that's another reason why, I didn't want to continue working with Nitty Gritty. I mean, I love the guy, but I sent him over 2 projects to do 2 different collaborations, in which the fact that he sent me these projects means that whatever I did on this song is actually dope and he wants to get on board on it. But, me waiting for him to decide when he's done or not. And I don't want to be the guy to be on his ass every week. It's like, hey, have you worked something around it?
Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying too. So
it's happened to me. People will be like, hey, have you worked on it? And I'm just like, dude, you sent it to me yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, that's kind of different, all right? That's kind of different because that's like, all right, dude, I just opened up this session. Like, come on, give me some time, Now you're being a little bit desperate.
And what also, like, you and Nitty are boys, so you don't, and he's a really good producer, but then what happens if he sends you something and it's not that it's bad quality or anything, it's good quality, you just don't really care for the idea, then you got to tell him. Are you going to tell him or are you just going to leave it?
The thing is, he and I have a great relationship and he and I are honest with each other. So I'll tell him straight up to his fucking face.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I like...
Yes, that's good because that's like a different level than just like knowing each other.
Yeah, like, I mean, again, we went to school together.
Exactly.
I've helped him how to DJ into what the DJ monster that he is right now. I took him to his Florida tours, to all these shows in Florida. It was a fucking fun experience. Like, I know the guy on a personal level. Like,
yeah,
I even text him saying pretty boy and other shit,
yeah.
Like, my relationship with him, me and him, we're always honest with each other, so I can just simply tell him to fuck off.
Yeah, I've had a collab with some people that I know that I've looked up to, and when they send it back to me, I didn't like it, and I'm like, hey, I'll just release this on my own. I'll just finish this on my own.
Yeah.
Even though I really wanted a collaboration with them.
Yeah, but
I'd rather have the song be how I want it.
You wanted the collaboration, but you want the song to be great. You don't want it. You don't want the song to be half-assed or have the idea changed into the vision that you originally had it or wanted. There were actually times in which I'm very adaptable. It's like, as long as it's something that I can fuck with, and
100%.
I'm happy for the changes. Like, if the change is needed because it's gonna make the song even bigger, okay, let's listen to it. Let's hear about it. Let's go for it. I'm all for it, for change and adaptability. But if it becomes like change the whole concept from scratch, like everything's from scratch, then, like, all right, then we just lost the idea.
Yeah.
We just lost the idea. At that point, I would be literally, all right, let's continue working with this song, whatever the song it is now. And I'll still keep the original idea with me and release it on another name and another time.
That's exactly what happens to me. And then I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm going to do that other idea on my own.
Yeah.
It's tricky. I have some guys, though, that I work with. I've done a couple collabs with Cisnero is one of them. And another one of my boys, his name is Redacted now. There's certain people that you just click. We make a song in like 2 days. Boom, boom, boom. Like everything they send me, and like I love it. They love everything I'm doing. And then others, it doesn't work out like that.
That happens a lot to me with all my homie producers. Like, it doesn't matter who, it's always somebody that takes forever. And like at that time, I'll just ignore it. I move along,
100%.
I mean, with Nitty Gritty, it was just 2 collaborations that I didn't even ask for it. He just asked for it. Let's get, send me the project sessions. Like, let's do a collab. I was like, oh shit, I'm down for it. Okay, cool. But I never hear it from him back. And when I did, it's like, oh shit, I totally forgot about that. I was like, this motherfucker. high
Bro,
jump kick his fucking throat, you know?
I can imagine. And that's something that we just don't understand yet. And maybe we'll understand later
Maybe.
because he's on some other level.
I mean, I understand him. That's why I take, sympathy for him because, I know his life. I know all that goes down. I know that he's a machine. And every week is a new song. That's how he works. Every week. In fact, in a matter of hours, he already has the idea of a song. In 2 days, that song is like, you feel like that song is complete, but in reality, it's like far from it. There's so many more things, but that's how he works. Like, and not only he works for himself, but he produces music for other artists, like more in the hip hop scene. So he has a fucking busy schedule, so I can sympathize him and I can understand why, because my song is like right here, and all his other projects is right here. You get it? Like my song is not top priority because
he's got like priorities that he has to and deadlines probably.
Yeah, and again, what can I bring into the table other than he and I are homies?
Bingo. Like, that's when you gotta like, hey, if I'm not there yet, then I gotta bring up my value. Until they ask me.
Exactly. Because I'll be honest, like I'm not full of myself. Like I know how many followers I have. I don't know how many followers he has, and I know that if he and I make a song, it benefits me a lot, but I don't know how much it benefits him. Right. For him, it could be, it's just another song, so it won't change the matter. But for me, it's an opportunity, and that's where I drew the line in some of these artists, in which I'd be like, you know what, I need, like you say, I need to be at their level, so we can mutually help each other out.
Yeah, it motivates me to get not just on their level, but a bigger level, to where they're like, damn, I remember this kid hitting me up, and now he's bigger than me. That's what I want. That even with not even just collaborations, just with bookings, etc. Like you have to bring value to them, especially.
Exactly. That's why I haven't even I'm homies with them. I didn't build relationship with them just so it benefits me at all. Not at all. Like this is all because I'm a very loyal person and I like to help people out. That's how it's supposed to be. We help each other out, and especially I have the same relationship as with Mozart, at least with Pat. Shout out to Pat, and I love those guys, like I would I'm never asking anything.
Right. If you're just like not a piece of shit and you're a good person and you're not like a weirdo, like asking for things, you get so far. Like imagine the weird shit they come across.
Boom. Imagine how many others they come across on a daily basis or during touring,
Yeah.
Must be exhausted because, hey, I was actually one of those guys as well on the behind the backstage that I will ask certain artists for their emails, but I come in with good intentions. I know. I would
appreciate that if somebody asked me that.
I will ask and say, hey, how you doing? If you're not too busy, man, is it okay if I ask you for your emails? I got some music. If
or
you
give
like
them a
it.
USB. I feel like they don't listen to it, but I've done it a couple times.
The USB thing, you know what? Nitty Gritty did that a couple of times.
It hasn't happened to me yet, but if somebody gave me a USB, I'm definitely listening to it. You wouldn't?
I'll tell you why. It's because when I used to work in the Clevelander, I get people ask for demos every time it's my shift. Every time somebody wants to go to the DJ booth, they want to send them the CD or the USB or download this certain songs, like
for the DJ to play it.
For the DJ to play it, and I get irritated. Because I get once I get asked, okay, that's fine, but it's every shift at the night.
You DJ'd at the Clevelander?
No. I was just the AV guy. I was just in charge of the lighting but
the DJ was like open format, right?
Yeah.
So they're like hip hop artists and stuff, like trying to give them demos.
Yeah.
I feel like that's different from us in electronic music, like producers trying to give us demos.
No, it's just the same concept applies into the EDM regardless. Like, you like all introductions and everything. You give me a demo, I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? It's like, oh, there's that fire stuff. That's the fire stuff. It's like, you say it's fire stuff. When somebody tell me it's the fire stuff, I will immediately discard it because 9 times out of 10, it ain't that fire stuff.
Hey, at least you got a new USB from it.
Damn, I throw away so many USBs. You actually had a good point. Fuck.
I would keep them.
Fuck.
I remember, I think 2 years ago, Treehouse was like, hey, come in and bring your USB with a mix. We're looking for DJs. And I'm just like, man, I better be picked because I'm wasting this USB right now. They never hit me back up, so they got to keep it.
Damn.
Yeah. This was like 2.5 years ago. I was like, I'm definitely going to get picked. This is a good mix. Nah. I was like, damn, I could have kept that USB.
See, that's another reason why I would not go give you a USB, because how much money would you spend normally on a USB? Like what, $5, $10?
At least, yeah. And depends how many times you lose it.
So how many times have you given a USB to a certain artist?
Only about 3 or 4 times.
So out of those 3 or 4 times, you probably spend already like 20, $25 average, give or take?
Yeah, probably more.
And have they said anything in return? Have they?
Never. It's never worked.
Okay, so again, may I ask
why
you?
I just didn't do it anymore.
That's why I asked for the emails. It's much easier, and I can just give you the links and let it fly, man. At least I know with the links I can tell that you listen to me or not.
Yeah.
But given the USB as a part of a demo strategy style, like save that money, man. Save that money. That's the best advice I could give you. Like I can't just like, God knows how many times those people who send demos, giving me demos to me, and knowing I'm not the only one, there's probably others more that they have to give those demos away. So imagine that you spend money and none of them could give free fucks about you or your song.
Right.